Hello, everyone, and greetings from the narthex outside the sanctuary at the church. It's a rainy day today, so I couldn't be outside by the fountain as I had hoped. But it's good to greet you from in here in this common space we have next to our wonderful worship space. This is the next installment in the Being Church series as we continue to spark these conversations about what it means to be the Church of Jesus Christ in this new era, but especially what it means to be Fondren in this new era. Today I want to talk a little bit about stewardship. Stewardship is a topic that we dance around a lot in church. Stewardship often gets reduced down to nothing more than budgets and dollars, and to be sure, that's a huge part of it. Our budget, the dollars that we give to the church, is a big part of our stewardship. But today I want to talk about stewardship in a broader sense, in terms of stewardship as how we live out our theology and our faith in God and in Christ. Stewardship implies a couple of things. The first is it does imply generosity. Stewardship requires us to give of ourselves, whether that's giving of our time or our talent, or yes, sometimes of our treasure. But stewardship also has built into it care. We are good stewards of the earth, good stewards of God's creation. We're called to care for and nurture those things that are placed in our hands and entrusted to us. So our stewardship is in a way an outgrowth of that theology, that understanding of care and nurture. And that's what I'd like us to think about our stewardship today. How is our stewardship in the church, the giving of our time, our talent, and our treasure, an act of care and nurturing? To get ready for this today, I went and looked for a lot of different stories about stewardship, and there are about as many books on stewardship out there as there are books on any topic in ministry or in church life. And everyone claims to have the answer. One thing all the books have in common is they all have some catchy story about that unexpectedly generous person in the church who left a big amount of money in a will, or who had been saving all their life and then made a great big generous contribution to the life of the church. Most of the stories focus on the amount of money that's given. And trust me when I tell you, we are always glad to get those gifts. But they're not the only ones that build our stewardship. I ended up finding a story I want to share with you in a very unexpected place. I've been reading a book that's a collection of stories of soldiers in World War II who were not well-known or famous. Everyday soldiers who had everyday jobs. And I was reading about one. He was in the army very late in the war, and he was part of the army that liberated a couple of the concentration camps. Now, he wasn't an infantryman. He wasn't on the front lines. He was a cook. In fact, he was a buck private cook, so he spent more time on KP than he did actually doing anything else. But in his little essay, in his interview, he talks about being the guy who peeled the potatoes that fed the people who liberated the camps. He wrote about it with such incredible pride and such joy. He talked about the small role he played in making it possible for lives to be saved. And that, I think, is what stewardship is really about. It's not about those mountaintop moments, as important as they are when we see abundant generosity in the world. It's also about all of those little moments of everyday care that add up to be the wonderful work of the church in the world. He peeled those potatoes, and he cooked that food, and he cleaned those pots, and that helped make possible the liberation of other human beings. We often forget that part of stewardship is caring about the small, unseen things. It's about caring about the things that are sometimes 2 and 3 steps away from ourselves. When we give to the church of our time and our talent and our treasure, we often see right where that's going. Because we give our time to teach a Sunday school class, there we are, right there in it. Or we give money toward the church's mission, we might go on that mission trip, or we might see that mission and that ministry in action as a volunteer. Now, though, we live an extra step removed from our giving. The church, the place through which we give into the world, is now a step removed from us. That can make our stewardship feel even more distant. And it can make it hard to really think theologically about how and why we give. But I think that this moment is a moment when we are called to be stewards in a whole new way. In fact, I think it's an even more powerful calling from God to care for God's creation and God's people. Because now we're being called to care when we can't necessarily see our care at work. That's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to put blind faith or blind trust in anything. Well, I hope that for all of us who give to the church, who give of our time, our talent, and our treasure to the work of the church, we have faith in the congregation and its work in our community that is strong enough to bridge this gap that we have right now. That's strong enough to bridge that distance that we might feel institutionally at the moment. We do live in a time of a lot of uncertainty. And if your household is anything like mine, you've had to spend some time thinking about money and where it will go, maybe even where it's going to come from in the near future. Stewardship is not about giving until it hurts us. It's about giving generously to the work of the community of faith because it expresses who we are. As we live further into this season that does seem like we're going to be apart from one another a little longer than we had hoped, I hope that you will give some prayerful thought to your stewardship and your giving. Not just to how much you give, but also to why. To what it means in your life, in your spirit, to give to the work of the Church of Jesus Christ in this place. I can say from my part, the reason Brian and I give is because we believe in Fondren's mission. And we believe in the importance of this church in this community. That's why we choose to give back to Fondren. You have your own reason in your own heart. I hope that you'll give some time to thinking about that. What is it about Fondren that has called you to give generously in the past? And how might that call still be alive in your life? Over the coming weeks, we'll be doing a lot of looking and thinking about budgets and how we will institutionally respond financially to the situation surrounding us. That's an important conversation to have. But it's not the conversation we have first. The first conversation we have about stewardship is about how our giving reflects our living and our faith and our hope in Jesus Christ. I hope that you will give generously to the church so we can continue to give generously in the community. But above all, I hope that in your giving, you find spiritual growth and reward. Because when we give to the work of the Church of Jesus Christ, We are giving to the work of Christ in the world. And friends, make no mistake about it. The places where we as a congregation give in World Mission, Habitat for Humanity, the Good Samaritan Center, Stew Pot, to all of these and all of our other mission partners, the need now is greater than ever before. So we hope to be able to continue to give at the level we have in the past. We hope to continue to be able to support the ministries and the outreach and the work of Fondren. We do all of those things because of the trust that you put in the church as part of your life of stewardship. Well, that's what I have to say on that. I hope you'll think about it some. I hope you'll pray about it even more. I hope that you will spend some time thinking about where giving as nurture and as care fits into your life. If you have any questions about the church's stewardship or its finance, please know you can always call me, call Zach Taylor, our finance chair. We're always glad to answer any questions that you have. But above all, I want to say thank you. Thank you for the trust you have put in Fondren in the past. Thank you for the trust you continue to put in Fondren. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say thank you for the trust you're still going to put in Fondren. I hope everyone has a blessed day today. I hope you'll make plans to join us on Sunday morning for worship. And I hope you'll make plans to join us on Wednesday night for Wednesdays together. In the meantime, stay safe, stay strong, stay connected. And remember that your church family loves you, your pastor loves you, and looks forward to seeing you very, very soon.